Hey everyone, Alan Bauer here, Bay City, Michigan, and today's your lucky day. You get to hear me on a second video today. Uh, so, I've been looking at some things online, and I'm realizing, I see a lot of my friends and family members, everybody's working from home now, or a lot of them are. Not everybody, but quite a few businesses are adapting to the situation. They know it's going to be longer term. And I know you may hear some things out there, oh, this will all be over the end of March. I don't think that's going to be the case. You see a lot of these businesses that are pretty savvy and they're setting everybody up in their house and they're working remotely with computers and, telephones, and they're all doing that. And it's really a big change. If you think about it, it's kind of a cool thing to me. I've had a remote. Actually, I've worked remote positions and work from home jobs, and then I've also had remote where I just work around my local area, but I may work for a company out of Kansas City. I may work one out of Chicago or wherever, but I work right here locally in the area. Or sometimes if I am on the phone, I call nationwide and I'm talking with people. And they have ways to track that. I mean, actually, you're probably tracked better over the computer. Like they can see every little keystroke you do, every little thing that you're doing online, and they have ways to monitor all that. And they test you against each other, so it's not like somebody's just going to be screwing around at home and not doing any work or anything. So I think a lot of businesses are really, a lot of them may stay with that. They may say, why are we building, why are we getting all this expanded office space? And I think a lot of it is you have some CEOs and big managers and stuff like that. They just want to, they like to get in front of a bunch of people and talk and think that everybody just loves everything they're hearing. But I think the worst thing about working, even if you love your job, a lot of times it's really the commute. So you have all these people on the road. We all go to work at the same time in the morning. That's why they call it rush hour traffic, especially if you've ever lived in a big city. Like I lived in Southern California before. Try getting to work. Like when I was in the Marine Corps, I lived in Anaheim and Irvine. And when I lived in Anaheim, it was a 14-mile drive to the Marine Corps base. It took me an hour to get to work on a good day. Never had to worry about a speeding ticket, anything like that, because it's stop and go, bumper to bumper the whole way. And it can be very stressful, in a lot of the big cities, and also very expensive. And if you think about it, if you have a remote job, you can really, as an employer, you can recruit from the best talent all across the US instead of just your area. And the crazy thing, like, I see a lot of people go to these big cities like New York, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, and they get these really high paying jobs. Well, if you're living here in Bay City, Michigan, I mean, $100,000 job is like, that's pretty damn good. But if you're out in San Francisco with a $100,000 job, or you're in DC with a $100,000 job, you look at what your rent cost out there. I know, like in DC, get a two-bedroom apartment, just nothing special, but a decent two-bedroom apartment, you can pay about 30 grand a year out of that. You can pay, a few $100 a month just in parking, or you got to take like I'd taken the metro when I was out there before, or just that stop and go traffic. I mean, there's people that commute 2 hours each way just to get to work. Maybe they take a train, or they got to take their car to the train station, then they get on the train and then take that downtown. And I mean, it's just all this hustle and bustle, and then you got that 2 hour commute back. And you think about it, it really eats up a lot of your time. And then everything's just so crowded. And I think a lot of employees may look at this too and say, if I can work remotely, why am I going to stay in this expensive city when I can move out in the country somewhere? I can move somewhere where I got a little more privacy, a little more land, a little slower paced life. I don't have this commute. I can work from home. So I think this is really going to be, there's always positives when bad things happen. And I mean, this is a bad thing with the virus and all that, but we'll get through this. But this could be the wave of the future too. And people think this is like a one-time shot. I mean, you can look back at these pandemics over the years, and they've been spread out. But what if this accelerates? What if this becomes an annual thing? you know, what if these things mutate? They start getting smarter, or start attacking more as the population increases. I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of natural thing that the population gets too big, then it kind of wipes through there. Um, then we got to look at the hospital system too. So I think there's going to be a lot of changes. I think a lot of big level managers are going to reevaluate certain things. Look at the restaurant industry; they've been devastated during this. Um, I look at some of the things around here. Like we have like the Uptown Bay City area here, and you have all these nice high end restaurants going in there, and I mean, they're shut down. They still got to pay bills though. They got to pay their rent and utilities and insurance and all that, and they had zero customers. So that's going into the negative for a lot of people. And I don't know what the government's going to do. Are they going to bail out? They're talking about sending $1,000 checks to every American. I don't know if that's going to be a monthly basis, whatever. Excuse me. But if that's a monthly basis, I mean, it could be something like, they talk about that monthly guaranteed basic income. And it's kind of funny, you heard one of the presidential candidates, Yang, talk about that a lot. And that thing goes way back too. Is that a possible way of the future? Is that a temporary thing? We don't know. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Can we afford it? All I know is some things are going to change here in the U.S. And a lot of these businesses will go back to business as usual. But you think about it, you have these mega metropolitan areas, metropolises, where you have these big high-rise buildings, and you got 5,000 employees work in this building, and it's like a little city in itself. It's bigger than the place I grew up in. The place I grew up in Pinconning, Michigan, only had 1,200 people. I think they still have about 1,200 people today. And then you see some of these buildings, with like when I went down to Cincinnati, Ohio before, Columbus, Cincinnati Life, not Columbus Life, Cincinnati Life. There's like almost 5,000 people, employees in that building. And I mean, it was pretty cool, but do we really need that? Is there a way to do it remotely? Like when I worked through SelectQuote, we had the Zoom thing going on. We had Zoom chats. You got 100 people in there. You got the instructors, and it was very interactive. I mean, it was very cool the way that they did stuff. And we did have a meeting. Like every Monday morning or something. Log in half hour before. But it was really cool because I get up in the morning, work out, eat, or have my coffee, but I'd take my shower, get dressed, and I could get dressed like this. I didn't have to throw a suit and a tie on and, polish my shoes before I rush out the door and get into traffic. And then it's like, oh my gosh, the bridge is open, boats coming through, or there's a traffic accident or things like that. That's the biggest stress. As long as you get there early, it's like there doesn't seem to be that much stress. But when you have snow days and like really crappy weather days, how cool is it just to be in your own house, in the comfort of your own house? Plus, you don't have all the expenses of eating out or dry cleaning or different things like that. Gas. I mean, just gas running back and forth to work. I mean, people working from home now, they're going to notice like, hey, I don't have to get all dressed up. I mean, maybe you still do, if you're going to be on a conference or something, maybe you throw a suit and tie on. I mean, you could be sitting there with shorts on and, from the waist up, you got your dress shirt and, your suit on, but, unless they ask you to stand up or something. But with technology, do we really need this? Some places, yes. I mean, there's some jobs you have to be there. But even doctors, right now they're doing a lot of this telemedicine. Like, if I got a sore throat or something, I could probably stick my mouth up here and, do it with my tongue, and they could look down your throat or something with a good enough camera, or kind of tell the symptoms. You may have to have some things like thermometers, things like that in the medical field, but for the most part too, even like insurance, when I did insurance, a lot of people before, you still ran into a lot of people, well, I want a local agent. I want somebody to come out to my house. Is that going to happen? I mean, who the hell wants somebody to come out to their house right now and in the midst of this? I'd love to call all those people back like, hey, I'm ready to come out to your house now. It's like, oh no, no, don't come out to my house now. It's like you might have that virus or something. So I think the mentality is going to change a lot in the way we do things. Even grocery stores. Think about this. So we all go to the grocery store, and like Karen went down to Sam's Club today, and there's a line out the door before it opens. So it's just crazy. Everybody's trying to get the toilet paper. People are pretty much stocked up on everything else but toilet paper and hand sanitizer for some reason. And then I look on Amazon, and I see Amazon's out. They're doing their thing. But you see all these other places or, individuals that are selling this stuff. And I think there's a lot of price gouging going on. A lot of these people, they run to the stores like, oh, let me buy up all the toilet paper, and then I'll get it, for $5 a pack, and then I'll sell it for $40 a pack, and make all this money. So, who knows where all this is going to go. But I think there will be some changes. I think businesses are going to look at things. They're going to say, hey, we may need some people on site. And I got my kitty here. She wants to get in the video. Don't you, kitty? Say hi. This is Nadijda. She's like, yeah, let me down. You ready to get down? Yeah, you're a good girl. So Nadijda likes to see what I'm doing when I'm doing the videos here. That's the other cool thing too. If you're at home, you think about things like kids. Like the other day I get a call from a recruiter, and I can hear a dog barking in the background or something. It's like, okay, that's no big deal. I don't care. It's like somebody has, maybe a baby crying. I mean, maybe if you had like a newborn baby that you may need to have somebody take care of that. If you're on the phone all the time, you can't have a kid screaming in the background. But if you have kids that are a little bit older, and say they're homeschooled or something, maybe that's a big thing too with the homeschooling, or they do interactive with this. Like you have the teachers. A lot of the colleges, school systems, they can get on a Zoom call or something and do it like this. The kids log in and watch teacher. They could even have the camera back on the kids, make sure they're paying attention, do the classes. Kids are pretty cool with it, because it's the technology. Kids are better at technology than we are. I remember my niece, nephew, stepdaughter, all that, when they're little, they figure out how to use a phone. They see you swipe here, and they see that like one or two times. They can be like a year or 2 years old, man. They got that stuff figured out. You have, some older people are a little bit challenged with certain things in technology, and I've tried to keep up with everything. But then you have a lot of older people too that are just wizards with it. They know how to do everything. They Skype with their grandkids and all this stuff. So I think it's going to come down to a lot of different things. And I wonder how other things are going to work too. Like all these restaurants, I'm sure there'll be some things coming back open and everything. I mean, we're not going to just totally change society, but it's definitely going to take a new look on the employment side. Like what everybody is going to do. Like, why not some more remote positions? Why not save on office space, save on the wear and tear on vehicles? And, maybe if even families, they may only need one vehicle instead of two. It gets expensive to have two vehicles and pay two sets of insurance, especially here in Michigan. I mean, we got some of the highest rates. Hopefully it's going down with some changes, but it gets expensive, and you think, do you really need two vehicles then? Especially if, you got both parents staying at home work from home, maybe one of them, but you still have that car there for emergencies and to run to places, things like that you need to do. Oh, with the grocery thing too, like I was saying, what's to stop some of these grocery stores from doing like Amazon does? Look how great Amazon is at shipping everything out. And then there's this company called Shipped that, they go into some of the stores, do the shopping for you. Of course, if you order toilet paper right now, they're probably not going to be doing that so much. But let's say everything calms down, and let's say for the grocery stores, let's say we don't really go in them anymore, but you go online and you have all the product selection there, and you pick it out, and maybe you got some little robots in the warehouse, and they kind of package it into, a little box or something, a little container, and maybe they have a, human drive it. Maybe later on, we have these remote cars, little robotic cars that drive it out to your house or something and deliver it, but you pay for it online. Somebody brings it all the way to your house in a container, and there you go. And maybe they have like another one that they pick up or whatever, or maybe it's just in boxes. Maybe it'd be on auto ship, so people say like, hey, I need X amount of rolls of toilet paper every month. I need X amount of, milk every week or whatever, and you have this whole thing in there. Maybe they make a weekly delivery, and you got that set up like in an auto ship, so that warehouse can actually plan for that also, and maybe get a little bit of a discount if you do it. We have the same thing with our CTFO business. And a lot of times, even with the CBD, you had a lot of people saying, well, I just want to go to the store. Well, you can't get the CBDA that we have at the store anywhere. But people don't understand a lot of this stuff yet. And there are a lot of people, I don't want to sign up for anything. I don't want to do anything. I just want to go to the store. Fast forward to today, a lot of people are figuring out the technology pretty quick. When people need to do something, when you light a fire under their butt and they have to do it or go without, they figure out how to do things pretty quick. We're a pretty resilient society. We're adaptable, and this is what we're doing. This is a really cool thing because I see businesses, I see employees, I see everybody adapting to things. And the really cool thing too, like even a lot of these wait staff, they all lost their jobs. And they get unemployment and stuff, but you see places around here, and I'm in a very low cost area, like Bay City, Saginaw, very low cost area. You see some of the grocery stores, major grocery stores here, are paying like $17 an hour if you want to go. It's a temporary thing, which is great until they don't have enough people to stock the shelves. It is absolutely crazy. You go in there and everything is like wiped out. And I know eventually we're all going to be kind of preppers, and we're all going to have our little stockpile. Like Karen kind of rearranged our pantry, and we got a little more stuff in there today. She's very good at making everything look good, and where you can find stuff instead of just a big cluster like I keep things. So she's the organized person, kind of the feng shui one. So that's all I really excuse me, that's all I really have today. I wanted to shoot this second video just because I noticed the difference with the remote thing. And, I really look forward to that. Like, if Karen and I could, excuse me, Karen and I could both work from home, and that would be pretty cool. Like if neither one of us had to get up and, to rush to drive out in the snow or crappy day or whatever, and, put all these miles on, and we could both work remotely from home. How cool would that be? How cool would it be to, have lunch or something? Or maybe we have different lunch times. Maybe I go prepare her lunch, and then on her lunch, she eats it, and then she prepares mine or something. Or, and if you got to hit the restroom or something or grab a drink, everything's right there. You're not going out for lunch. You have all your stuff there. It's just really, really cool to be able to work from home. So think about that too. Have your own home business opportunity. You don't have to be just through an employer. I have a job. Karen has a job. And it's great to have that income, but there's no guarantee on it. Like we see, you don't know what the heck is going to happen in this world. You may think you're all secure and everything, but you really don't have that. So you do need to set up what I call separate streams of income. One could be through an employer. One could be through like a network marketing company like CTFO. And Karen and I have, created a full-time income off that we split with each other. So that really helps out. You could use that, pay down debts. When you get the debts paid down, you start some investments. Your investments could turn into another stream of income if you do things like dividend stocks. And then you don't have to freak out too if the market's falling or something like that, because you hang on to it and you're still getting paid those dividends. So a lot of different ideas and things to think about. Just throwing some ideas out there. Let me know what you think about this. How has this affected your life? Are you working from home? Did you lose your job? Is your job still secure? Is everything the same? I'm expecting most of you out there would probably have something a little bit different going on in your life because of this. So that's all I got. I just wanted to shoot this second video. I just had a lot of stuff on my mind. Wanted to throw it out there, talk to you. Maybe I'll do a Facebook Live sometime. Maybe with a lot more people at home, maybe I can do something like that on the weekend. What do you think about that idea? Just shoot me some ideas. Drop a comment, whatever, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.